This is the 169th Taiku in the Babylonian Talmud. A Taiku is an unresolved and unanswered question in the Babylonian Talmud, to which tradition has it that we must wait until the Messiah comes. And Elijah the prophet, either before heralding the Messiah or after, I'm not entirely clear when, but it is said that he will answer these questions. It's a Talmudic tradition that I learned that in yeshiva, and many people who study Talmud know about this. And there is a rabbi by the name of Rabbi Aharon Yehoshua Pessin, I think, if I'm not mistaken, from Ramat Beit Shemesh in Israel, and he put together a book called Taiku, and it's a compilation of all these unresolved, unanswered questions in the Talmud. And he writes in the introduction to his book that when Elijah shows up, Eliyahu, Hanavi, Elijah the prophet, and he's ready to answer all the questions, but what's going to happen when we go to him? But will we know all the questions? He's not going to tell us the questions. He's just going to answer them if we know them. And so it says, I'm trying to remember the exact wording, but something to the effect of he's not going to spoon feed us the questions. We have to know the questions, and then we can ask him. And I thought that was a very interesting point, not just for Taikus and answering a question that is unresolved, but just to be prepared in life in general for anything that may come up. It's true that, or at least it makes sense that there's things that we're not always going to be prepared for. Things can always catch us off guard, no matter what it is, but at least in general, to be prepared for whatever we can be, it's good too. So I like that idea. It appealed to me, and I was intrigued by his. I thought it was creative. I thought it was an innovative idea to take all these unanswered questions and put them in one book. And he lists other information, for example, how many appear in which tractate and what number they are. And so I'm just taking from his book. And according to his book, this is the 169th Taiku. I started from the first one, which appears in Tractate Brachot, page 8a at the bottom, 2 lines from the bottom. But this one appears in Tractate Bava Batra, page 103b, and with the words Tana. Tana im hayasel hayachidi afilu kol shehu ein nimna ima ve'im hayasamuch lemetzer afilu kol shehu ein nimna ima. A sage taught in a Braita, if there is a solitary rock on the outskirts of the field, even if it is of a minimal size, it is not measured together with the rest of the field. I'm not sure why you would measure it, but it says it's not measured with the rest of the field. And further, if that rock is adjacent to the field's border, even if it is of a minimal size, it is not measured together with the rest of the field. Rav Papa raises a dilemma, and just by the way, Rav Papa is the one who asked the very first Taiku in Shas. A little bit of Taiku trivia. That first Taiku in Brachot 8a is asked by Rav Papa. So I find it interesting, these little things that come up that I don't always explain this whole thing, but today I decided to explain this whole thing, that about the Taikus, and when they showed up, when the first one was, I lost my train of thought there. When the first one was in Brachot 8, I said that a few minutes ago, But happens to be that was Rav Papa on Brachot 8a. And now it's Rav Papa on Bava Batra 103b. And he asks the 169th Taiku. And if he asks the first, but he also asked the 169th, I mean, I think he asked a few others as well, but I wonder what the connection would be. But when he asked the Taiku, I often bring this up if I remember. So anyway, Boyer of Papa Mufsak al Farbintaim Mahu Taiku. Rav Papa raises a dilemma. If Earth intervenes between the rock and the border of the field so that the rock does not actually touch the border, what's the halacha? If Earth intervenes between the rock and the border of the field, but what's the border? Isn't the border Earth also? I mean, isn't Earth considered part of the ground? That's my own idea, but apparently this question is unresolved. And I need to ask my own unresolved questions. Sometimes I insert my own unresolved questions that some of these seem, I mean, maybe it's more than meets the eye, but to me it seems a little bit too simplistic. If Earth intervenes between the rock and the border of the field, the Earth is part of the ground, is it not? And it says that if a rock is adjacent to the field's border, it's not measured with the field. So why would Earth being under it make a difference? Seems a little bit too easy. But apparently this is the 169th unresolved question to which we need to wait for the Messiah and Elijah the prophet to answer this. So am I missing something here? Am I? I don't know. Maybe I am. The Gemara states this dilemma as well shall stand unresolved. And we must wait for the ultimate redemption, maybe soon and in our day, to hear the answer to this takeover.